Jorge?
Joe, did CC throw again today?
He threw today. He said he felt good. So I think the next scheduled one will be a Saturday, as long, as he continues to wake up and feel good the next day. And the next day is scheduled to increase the amount of pitches Saturday.
Jeff?
Joe, I know you said there's no specific timetable, but yesterday there was some talk of spring training, starting from scratch. You're not talking 6 weeks, right? We're talking.
Well, I can't give you an exact time, but I mean, you're building up a starter. You're trying to build him up to 90 pitches, and we do bullpens there. Usually three bullpens, maybe a couple live VPs or whatever, and then you start games. So, he's kind of on that track. I don't know if it's the exact track, exactly how long it's going to take, because I think, for me to get into specifics doesn't make a lot of sense, because, if he needs an extra day here one time, for me, the important thing is take it day by day. And every time he goes out and throws another bullpen or goes beyond that, the next step, it's a positive sign. And right now, the signs are positive.
This is a little off the topic. I'm thinking of Tony Gwynn. As manager, do you ever involve yourself in telling your guys to stay away from tobacco? It seems there's a lot fewer guys that use it now anyway, but and I know the league has education, but so forth.
Well, I think you express concerns when, with all the health things that guys put in their body, and the repetition, how often they're doing it, and you worry. These are grown men, and, I have to be careful what I talk about and what I don't talk about, in a sense. But I did talk to my son about it, and what Tony felt that caused the oral cancer, and encouraged him to never do it, because it is dangerous.
Could you tell me?
Come sit down. Come on, man.
Come on up, man. Come on up. Come on up with Joe.
This is one of the brothers of one of the boys, so.
Joe, could you give me a sense of how the percentages have come down? Though it seems that they've come way down.
It does seem like it's come down, but I can't tell you what the exact percentages were and are now. I never really paid a lot of attention, and I think some of that has to do with, what they've started in the minor leagues too, because obviously that's where it starts, and. But it's obviously very dangerous.
I think your mother was looking for you, and she didn't bother to look up here, though.
Yeah. She's looking.
Sorry. Who?
You seem like the ham in the family, by the way. Yeah?
I'm sorry. Where the... Mark, did you have something? Dan, you want to bring up Gehrig? Use the wireless mic.
Okay, sure. Joe, we're coming to the 75th anniversary of Lou Gehrig's Luckiest Man in the Face of the Earth speech. When you played, were you aware of Gehrig, and do you think today's players are aware of Gehrig too?
I was. Obviously, when I became a Yankee, I investigated a lot more into his life and what he did, and even what he did after he stopped playing the game. How he worked in a prison. You think about someone that understands that they may not have a lot of time to live, or when they're done working, doing what you love, you think they might take advantage of some situations that they wanted to do in life. But he ended up giving back to society, which I think is absolutely incredible. But I am aware of how great of a player he was, how consistent he was, how he went out there every day. And I think the players in our clubhouse know who Lou Gehrig is. Now, I can't tell you in every clubhouse because I'm not there. But his legacy is felt every day you walk in that clubhouse.
Second row.
Joe, a Hope Week question for you. You see the smiles of the kids we just had in here. As a manager, for these players, what kind of thrill is that to make these kids' days and to just give them so much excitement like that?
We love this week. It's a week that we get a chance to give back as a team, opposed to, obviously we have a lot of guys who do things individually, but you get a chance to give back as a team and recognize people that are doing amazing things. I've always said without hope there's nothing. And I think if we can take some time and give back to the people that are hurting or going through difficult circumstances and take their mind off that and give them something to look forward to, I think it's extremely important. But the great thing is we do it as an organization, and that thrills me, giving back to the community.
Mark, do you have a question?
Joe, are you guys still on term with your rotation right now?
Yes.
Okay. There's been a lot of talk about Warren.
Yeah.
You talked about him yesterday a little bit. You talked about maybe not having to send him down to stretch him out if he were to become a starter. You did that with Jabba 1 year. What did you learn from that experience, and if you do have to do that again, how that whole process goes?
Well, if you end up doing it, I think you have to have a couple of long men, because if you're stretching out a guy, the chances are you're going to use one of the long men then, and you hate to ever be without a long man, in a sense. You know, and you don't necessarily think your pitchers are going to get knocked out early, or they're going to get, something's going to be wrong with their arm, or so. But you look at the ball that was hit at Tanaka. I mean, sometimes that can go off your ankle, and you can't continue to start. That's why you cannot be caught without a long man, because you will fry your bullpen, and you may not have enough people to get through the game. So, if you're going to do that, to me, the biggest thing is you have to have a couple long men. Well, you just do it slow. I mean, you know, it's almost like building up in spring training.
Okay. Sweeney?
John, I understand you're always discussing things, but how much of this is still kind of up in the air for you, I mean, as far as what you're going to do with Warren?
Things aren't really up in the air with me, what we're going to do. Obviously, there's discussions, and I have my thoughts and beliefs, and we talk about it as an organization, but I wouldn't say things are up in the air with me.
Take one more. Dan?
Is Vidal, is that start a referendum on him?
We're on rotation right now.
But does he have to perform? I mean, is his job in jeopardy on that?
You know, I don't ever put
Okay.
that type of pressure on people. I don't think it's fair to send them out there, because I mean, there's a lot of times you could say that in every rotation, and it just, it's not fair, because you don't necessarily do that with guys with their at-bats, where I call them in the office and say, hey, your job's on the line. I mean, I don't think that's fair. They understand what's on the line every day, and they understand that this is a performance-based business, and they have to go out and perform. You got
Okay.
an answer for me?
Michael, you got anything
You got one
you want to
question? What is your first name?
Michael.
Michael. Anyone a question for Michael?
About the rotation?
What about the rotation at house, being one of 6 children? What's that like? You got talking to the mic.
It's sometimes very annoying. There's a lot of yelling, a lot of screaming, and I get headaches very often.
Yeah.
So the rotation is that I just stay in my room and close the door and I don't hear anything.
Now, you have 4 sisters and 1 older brother, and you're
Yeah.
second?
Yep.
You know, kids kind of going at each other is pretty normal, you know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you all survive, and you all grow up, and you're friends, and you wonder how you made it through sometimes. I grew up with 3 brothers and a sister, and my poor sister was in the middle, so it was rough on her. Yeah. But my kids, they go at it too, 14, 12, and 7. That's just part of life. But you got to treat your sisters good, right? You got to
Yep.
protect them, right?